Hello everyone and welcome back to Math for French Cars. In today's video we're going to be making a video on how to replace the glow plugs on this Peugeot 407 2-liter HDI. In my video I'm going to try to show you as much as I can and cover as much as I can in removing, accessing the glow plugs, removing them, replacing them, and even putting everything back together. The actual job is really tricky and the space behind the engine is very limited. I hope you're gonna understand that. Is gonna make my filming quite difficult in the back of the engine, but I'll try to do my absolute best. I hope you're gonna find this video useful. The only things to mention is, so some of the glow plugs will come out easy and some is not gonna come out easy, but you can buy like a low spray, which is injector glow plug spark plug loosening up spray, and you can spray it around the glow plug and leave it for a couple of hours, which might help you with removing it later. So if you want to do this job, make sure you leave yourself plenty of time, because it's a time consuming job purely because of limited access behind the engine. And I wish you all the best luck, guys. Please watch the whole video, take as much information out of a video as you need, and build up that confidence, and only then perform this job. We're not gonna expand much into the symptoms of the faulty glow plugs. The only things I would like to mention is, if you have a faulty glow plugs, especially now when winter is here and weather is getting really cold, you might struggle to start your car. You might have excessive white smoke coming out of the back of your car. You might have a rough idle or misfire until the engine warms up. That's just a few symptoms of the faulty glow plugs. You might want to look at it into it. You can Google it up, see what other people say, what other symptoms can develop, but that's the ones I would look into first. So I'm gonna start my video from quickly showing you guys what it looks like when you scan your car with diag box and it has a faulty glow plugs. After that I'm gonna proceed with an actual procedure of removing everything needed out of the way to access your glow plugs, and then replacing the actual glow plugs, and then putting everything back together. So when you scan your car with diag box and you have a faulty glow plug, what is gonna come up with is gonna come up with a fault under injection and ignition. The fault code will be P1351, and the fault will be called preheating relay circuit. Even if you scan your car with some cheap OBD scanner, if you get fault P1351, that indicates that you have one or more glow plugs faulty and you should be replacing them. So now guys, I'm just gonna go grab some tools and I'm gonna show you how to replace your glow plugs. Right, so I would just like to show you guys my new glow plugs, which I'm going to be using for this job, replacement job today. It's made by new CRE company, and that's how they look like. As you can see, brand spanking new. Make sure you replace all 4 glow plugs, just because the job to replace them is really horrible because of horrible access to the back of the engine. You don't want to do it again. These glow plugs, they're going to have a similar lifespan, so what you want to do, you want to replace all 4 of them and just have a peace of mind that has been done and dusted. You don't need to worry about it again. Right guys, so we're now gonna start replacement of the glow plugs, and the first thing you want to do is remove the engine cover if you have one. As you can see, I don't have one on top of my engine, so that's already done for me. Next thing to do will be to disconnect your battery. If you disconnect it and just leave it like that, make sure nothing touches nothing, that's absolutely fine. So first thing to do after your battery is disconnected is to actually disconnect and take off this metal pipe here, which is connecting top of the EGR valve and also intake manifold together. It's secured by this clip here We have another clip here in the middle, and we have a two 10mm bolts securing it to the top of the EGR. So I'm just gonna show you how it's done. Use a 10mm spanner here to undo the nut, which is hidden a little bit. Try to not to lose these nuts, even though it's quite hard actually, but just try. As you can see, I haven't lost it. The nut is still here. What I can do now, I'm gonna show you a little trick to make your life a bit easier. Try to press here on the side, lift your airbox by about like centimeter. What you're gonna be able to do now is you're gonna be able to remove, well, at least move this one a little bit out of the place. So from here, slide it off that thing and just move it a little bit to the back. Don't need to disconnect nothing else. What we want to do now is use 10mm spanner again and just undo this one. Once it's undone a little bit, you should be able to undo it with your fingers. And just keep it somewhere safe. So as you can see, this middle clip is now released. Next thing you want to do here is to undo two 10mm bolts securing top of this pipe onto the EGR. What you want to do first is you want to pop this little vacuum hose with a flat screwdriver off its place, so you have a slightly better access, and then you can use your ratchet with 10mm head on to undo these bolts. So that's one, and another one is going to be closer to here, as you can remember, closer towards like an engine. And the second bolt is loose now as well, and it's out. So both bolts of the both holes on top of the EGR connecting this pipe to the EGR is now off. So with the middle section and that side undone, the only thing is securing in place is this little clamp here. So you can just take something like this and then unclamp it like that, and you can just move this clamp to the side, and this metal pipe here will be just coming off like this. So just put it there somewhere safe. With EGR pipe disconnected, the next pipe to disconnect and take off is this little breather pipe here. So that's gonna get in the way as well, so we're gonna remove that too. And the best way to remove this one is actually use like a clamp, like pliers like this. Remove the clip to the side, and then you can take off the pipe of the intake. And the other side, we're gonna have to press here a yellow clip kind of thing in order to be able to push this breather off the breather thing here. Here we go. So that's off. With that off, we just simply remove it out of the place. As you can see, my pliers are still attached. I might just leave it like that for easier reinstallation. So just leave that on a side somewhere. So with our EGR metal pipe disconnected and a breather pipe disconnected, next thing you want to do is you want to take off this shield here. Now if your shield is in still pretty good condition, it's probably going to be secured by two kind of twist clips in the bottom. I will try to show you. Probably you can see, I hope you can see. One is just right there. I hope you guys can see it. What I'm using for that, because none of your tools can go there, I just grab myself 20p coin. I'm gonna stick in it and twist it, and then the clip is released. So in that way I'm gonna be able to actually unclip the bottom of this shield. And here on the top, what you have to do here is you have to just take this little thing here off, and the top, because it's gonna go upwards to remove it. That's all you have to do on the top. Just the bottom, make sure you undo those two clips. So as you can see, I've just undone one side. I'm sorry that I cannot show you absolutely, like, you know, the space is really limited, so some of the things you might not be able to see, but that's how you undo this bottom clips with just a 20p coin. Right, my guys, so looks like these shields are not very solid, so the second clip actually just break off, but nevertheless I'm still gonna be able to secure it somehow when I'm done with a job, hopefully. And now with this removed, as you can see, we can see a lot more space here in the back. We have much more space here, so we're gonna be able to show you better how it's done, and also we're gonna be able to perform this job much better because now we just have some extra space. My guys, so just here on the back of the engine, on the driver side, we have quite a few connectors. So what you want to do here is ideally you want to disconnect this connector here, and that's the 4-pin connector, which is actually a glow plug connector, and this is the start of a glow plug loom and connectors. This is where you would test your glow plugs if you use a voltmeter, but we're not going to expand into that now. We're just doing a video on how to remove the glow plugs and how to replace them. I don't see the point in testing them if you have a scanner of some sort, like OBD scanner, where you can actually scan and find the fault code, and you know more of them is faulty. And I'm not going to be one of them people which, you know, is going to replace 1 or 2 glow plugs. If you replace the glow plugs, you replace the whole 4, so there's no point to scan here and see which one is faulty, because you're going to be replacing all 4 of them. Right, guys, so the next thing to do is this 13mm bolt here. It's actually securing this vacuum solenoid assembly in place. So we just want to undo this bolt. It's a 13mm bolt. Come out quite easy once it's undone a little bit. And then as you can see, this whole vacuum assembly here can just be moved a little bit to the side, out of the way, so that it doesn't really bother us, and we can crack on with the job we're doing. So what I'm trying to achieve here, guys, is I'm gonna undo the 2 8mm bolts here for the EGR, and it is also one 5mm hex bolt from under the EGR, which I'm going to show you in a minute. Also, I think it's going to be one 13mm bolt somewhere here. Yeah, it's just here under, so under this bit here where my finger is, from the bottom, is securing the EGR place to the exhaust manifold. And I'm gonna undo also the EGR connector, so that's going to be 2 bolts securing it to the actual exhaust manifold under this little shield here, and that way, without disconnecting these coolant hoses, because I don't want to mess up my cooling system. Everything works fine at the moment, so I just don't want to, nothing to do with that. All I want to do is just undo this EGR assembly and slightly move it towards the back of the engine, towards here, so I can have more space and I can actually replace glow plugs without taking off all this bit out of the way. I'm just gonna try to move it. So most of the videos, it shows you disconnect this, disconnect that. Well, it doesn't show you that you're gonna have a massive issue with your cooling system after. You're gonna have to air it and everything, release the air out of the system and all sorts of stuff. So what I'm gonna try to do here is do opposite and do it my way, and show you the best way on how to move this all bit towards there, so you could have more and better access to actually replace your glow plugs. So the first thing you want to do, you want to find the bolt is actually this little shield here, which is covering EGR, where it mounts onto the exhaust manifold. Is actually, if you put your finger here where the little clip is, under it there is like a 13mm bolt, and that bolt secures the shield in place. Because you have something here which looks a bit like, I don't know what it looks like, thing in here which looks a bit like some sort of clip, but this all just lifts up and it comes off the EGR flex pipe. So I'm gonna just try to show you guys what I'm doing here. Is I'm trying to undo the 13mm bolt which holds this shield, covering like the EGR flex pipe, coolant flex pipe in place. As you could see, guys, this is the bit which we had to remove. It's actually secured like this, and here was a 13mm hold. It was one more pipe which I didn't really see here, and then another clip here. So with this removed, we actually exposed the bolts which secures the EGR cooler to the exhaust manifold. Now I'm just gonna show you something with my little mirror here. There is as you can see, this is a EGR cooler going in the back of the engine. The flex pipe, we took a shield of it, and as you can see, the flex pipe is secured by two 10mm nuts, I believe, to the exhaust manifold. But there is also a 13mm nut here which is securing a EGR cooler in place. So we're gonna need to remove that 13mm nut now, and we'll take it from there. Right, so now with only a few things left in order to be able to move your EGR assembly towards the windscreen backwards a little bit so that you could access your glow plugs. Next thing to do is just take a flat screwdriver and disconnect this EGR connector and just move it a bit of the way. Then we're gonna be probably going under the EGR and trying to find that 5mm hex bolt and undo that one. So before we go and try to find that bolt, I'm gonna just try to help you a little bit. As you can see, our EGR sits like this. So from other side, your hex bolt, which I mean is this one, is gonna be right under one of the 8mm bolt holes. So it's not ideal location, but nevertheless, when it sits like that, you know that it's gonna be under this bolt directly. That's where your hex bolt is, and we're gonna have to remove it now. So I hope I can show you the location of that hex bolt is right under the second bolt, so it's gonna be reachable by hand, but it's not great access. So we're gonna try to undo that, this some sort of bolt here, probably 10mm. So I'm just gonna try to undo this one first now, get this bunch of the stuff off the way. This is 10mm. Taking this bolt out because I believe that secures all this rubbish in place, so I could just move them to the side a little bit and actually be able to access my, it's actually here, the hex little bolt. So this is the next one to undo, and we're gonna do it now. And this hex bolt seemed to come off quite easy once it's undone a little bit. So just a little hex bolt under the EGR bolt, which normally people don't know about, and we're gonna take it from here and down. Now probably undo them two 8mm EGR bolts. Okay. Seems to be going out quite easy once it's undone a little bit. So I'll do a second one as well. Oops, don't want to lose that. We're just gonna undo these bolts like this, I think. Be careful, don't lose it. It's quite a long bolt. So you can see, that's another one. So now this bit of EGR, as you can see, this is all moving just the way we want. And we're just gonna undo the other side of EGR now, EGR assembly. And we're going to be able to move all this EGR like this, more than that. So we're going to be able to access our glow plugs. Alright guys, so as you can see here, we have two bolts securing this end of EGR to the exhaust manifold. This is EGR cooler here, and we'll try to undo them. Little bolts. One here. It's actually nuts, 10mm nuts. So you just need to undo them in order to get our EGR bit here loose from the manifold. So that's one nut off, and we have another nut which is not as easy to access. This is on a far end now. We will try though. So I have managed to put my ratchet in a socket onto the second 10mm nut on this exhaust bit of EGR cooler, and I'm undoing it as we speak. So hopefully once this done, we can show you how to move the EGR, the whole thing, towards a little bit off the glow plugs. Right, my guys, so as you can see, my EGR is now all undone, and it would move fairly well on this side. It kind of comes off where it needs to come off, but the problem is not this side. The problem is on this side. I think we're gonna have to get rid of this little clamp here, because the end here, I don't know if you can see it, the end here where the nuts come off is holding on the two threads, and the 13mm underneath there, is holding this bit in place, and I need to ideally move all of this towards there a little bit. So I might just have to undo this clamp a little bit so that I could actually be able to do something about it. So this clamp might have to go for time being. It needs to slide off. There you go, that's the clamp undone. And when the clamp is undone, I hope you can see the clamp still. When a clamp is undone, I'm just gonna move this clamp to this side, to one of the sides a little bit, like this. Then it's gonna be able to separate from this thing. It's gonna help us out in moving all of this bit forward a little bit. As you can see here, it's not ideal, but I'm trying to show you to my best. So yeah, this whole bit needs to go forward quite a bit. Right. So now what I can do is I can actually take this bit, take that bit off its place. Oh, still stubborn, believe it or not, but here we are. Now, as you can see, I took this bit here off the, this is exhaust bit, and then connects to EGR. Then we'll have a look what we are left here with. We are here left with just the normal EGR stuff, EGR assembly. So I'm gonna try to fix my light here, and this whole thing here can actually move quite a lot. So all this thing here, we can move it. So all this leftover EGR bit here, we can just push it towards off the glow plugs, and we're gonna be able to access actually our glow plugs. Just here I can feel them now. Right, so I'm gonna just try to show you all the glow plugs now. Once we move the EGR housing, now we can see. So one glow plug here somewhere, should be quite visible. So there's one here, one here, one here, and the fourth one is just there. So now we have access to our all four glow plugs, and it's gonna be a 7mm nut on top of a glow plug for the loom. So we're gonna just do that. I'm just gonna try to position my camera so you guys could see better process of removing glow plugs and reinstalling them. So I hope guys you can see it now. I'm gonna try to see myself if I can see it. Still cannot see them from the top, so I have to use my mirror and try to do it with a mirror. It's absolute nonsense, but nevertheless has to be done. 7mm head is on. And they seem to be quite loose. So I'm gonna try to undo with my fingers. The loom bit. That's a 7mm little nut, and then you can remove the loom bit, like so, as you can see. And now we can probably take off the actual glow plug, hopefully. So the actual glow plug, it's gonna need a 10mm deep socket, or something what I'm gonna use, which is definitely not a 10mm deep socket. It's actually something else. This is the one we targeting. I believe it's this one. So I'm gonna use this kind of tool, and hopefully it works out. Hopefully comes out nicely and behaves itself and doesn't break. I'm not asking much. That's all I'm asking. So here we are. Our 10mm is stuck in our 10mm actually tool. As you could see, that's the glow plug. It doesn't look too bad, to be fair. Maybe this one wasn't that faulty, but it might be the other one. So we're gonna crack on and do the other ones now. Well, I actually decided to reinstall the glow plug straight away, the new one. So I'm just gonna do that. Need to find myself a hole. Now we're gonna use the same tool, installing a new one as we speak. Okay, so now just tighten it up a little bit. Some stuff. That's it, that'll do. So the new glow plug is inside and it's tightened up. We can at the same time put back on a loom bit. And the little 7mm as well. we just need to tighten up this 7mm nut. Okay, so that's nice and tight now, and that's one glow plug done and 3 left to go. So I can feel the second one. It's just here somewhere. Okay. No. Okay. Just undo it with hand, the little nut, so I wouldn't lose it. Second nut, and now fingers crossed. Second glow plug to go. That was the first one, this one is the second one. Okay, so we remove the loom first. Out of the way, and then we can open. Hopefully it comes off nicely. Okay, this one doesn't want to come off that easy as the first one, so that's not ideal. Hopefully it'll come off regardless. Fingers crossed it's not going to be cooked up. So far it's coming off, I think. I would like to think that way. Right, my guys, so I just managed to take a second glow plug out. As you can see, nothing is here anymore, and all I can say, oh my god, it was such a nightmare. It took me nearly half-hour, so that's why I was stopping filming, because it took me like half-hour to take it off, and it was an absolutely ball shaker. I was scared, I'm not gonna lie to you. That was something. That was the scary stuff. That one wouldn't come off, and I'll show you why. As you can see, the first glow plug was all nice and shiny. The second one is all carbon buildup, and because of that it literally struggled to come out so much.
it was absolute headache to take out. So I have 2 left. I have to reinstall the second one in now. You already seen how I do it. Just stick it in, tighten it up with 10mm tool, and then literally put that 7mm nut on it. But I spent just half hour just removing a second one out. It's already dark outside, as you can see, pure darkness, and I'm still here working on it. It's absolute disaster, this job. It come out to be much harder than I thought and much more complicated because these little glow plugs doesn't seem to like to be taken out. Right, my guys, so I've done 3 so far. Now I'm doing my 4th one. Lucky me, it seems to be coming out quite easy, so hopefully it stays like that. And yeah, we're gonna remove this one. So I'm using now 10mm head. I realized I have a one longer head which actually goes on top of it, so makes my life a little bit easier. That's ideal thing for job, is just to have a long 10mm socket, I guess. And I think we are nearly there, so we're just gonna have a look now. This one access is not really great, but nevertheless, this one is the one which is behind the whole EGR, and this one looks nice and clean as well. It looks like new, to be honest. None of them look like really damaged or anything apart from one. So yeah, we're gonna replace this one now, and that's all the glow plugs will be replaced. Alright, so I have a new glow plug here in my hand, and as you can see here, just need to find that hole again. You guys can see it, I can't. Just imagine it's somewhere here. Yeah, looks like it's just going in that one here. And yeah, we're gonna just do it up with back with 10mm socket, and hopefully everything well, and we can start putting everything back together. Ooh, what a hell of a job it's been. Not ideal for my Friday afternoon, but nevertheless it had to be done. Right. So it goes in really nicely when it's new. It's just when it's old, sometimes it can be a problem to come out. Well, that's the problem, I guess, most of the time. Okay, so just tight it up, and that's 4 of them is inside now. You're not gonna be able to see here much. I think maybe I'll shine with my phone better, and then maybe you can see it better. So it's 1 and the 3, which is already done. So yeah, here we go. That's the 4th one. So the only thing left to do now is just to put that little 7mm nut, and that'll be ready to go soon. Right, my guys, so now all the 4 glow plugs has been replaced. I'm gonna try to show you. So as you can see, that one has been replaced, this one has been replaced, that one has been replaced, and the far one, that's been replaced as well. I hope you can see. Now we're gonna have to put everything back together. What a joy. So yeah, our EGR is hanging there, but we done a massive job and a good job, because we didn't disconnect them coolant pipes of the EGR cooler. If we would have disconnected them coolant pipes of EGR cooler, we would have another headache now to sort out a cooling system. We're not gonna have that headache now, because we're just gonna put everything back the way it was, like that. So now the EGR, all this bit, the way it came off, it can now go back onto the same kind of way, and that's gonna be, how is it gonna go on? What you want to make sure is that 13mm hole under that matches up, and once that is in, and then you can just have a look, make sure this side matches this up, the holes on to the EGR where you're gonna put your 8mm bolts on. So I think we're gonna do 1 bolt here, one 8mm bolt up, and then we're gonna sort out that little elbow kind of flex pipe, which takes EGR cooler, you know, connects EGR cooler with exhaust manifold. So you're gonna start from that. So the first thing you want to do is you just want to put it in a location where it belongs to. So I'm just gonna try to match it up now. I know that one side goes on top of the 2 bolts, and obviously the other side is gonna have to go onto. So I'm just trying to match up them holes to go on them bolts. That makes sense. So as you can see, guys, I hope I'm gonna be able to show you, I have matched EGR cooler, EGR now, and the flex pipe. Nothing is bolted on yet, but everything is in a place now to be bolted on. So I'm gonna start with 2 10mm bolts. We take off the 2 10mm bolts. We take off from here, from both sides, securing this little bit to the exhaust manifold. So I'm gonna start from that, and once that is done, I'm gonna crack on and do that 15mm bolt under the EGR cooler. I'm not sure if you can see now, but if you remember, it was a 15mm bolt, 13mm nut, sorry, securing EGR cooler in its position. So I'm gonna do that next. Right, my guys, so I am just finishing everything up slowly. What I've done, I've so far secured a clamp, as you remember. I used these kind of pliers, secure the clamp. I've done up them 2 8mm. I don't know if you can remember. Sorry, my camera, I have to hold it in a way. 2 8mm here in the back, and then I've done up 2 10mm bolts securing that flex EGR cooler bit to the exhaust manifold. So that is all done up. So now I have to use a 13mm nut and secure under EGR cooler. As you remember, there is a thread, and that's where your 13mm nut is gonna go onto. Just secure that in place as well. So I'm just literally doing it as we speak. Gonna get that out of the way, and then I'm gonna be installing a EGR flex pipe shield, because a few things was clipping onto it. So I just want to install that, and then we'll start to put more stuff together, and should be back on the road in no time. Right, my guys, so I've done some more stuff. I have done up 13mm bolt under the EGR cooler now. I also done up the shield, which you remember we took off that little elbow kind of flex pipe which was going from EGR cooler to exhaust manifold. And I've just done 13mm nut. I hope you can remember the 13mm nut, which is basically just here, securing all this little vacuum solenoid thing in place. So now what I can do is I can actually, it is I remember it is 2 clips, so I can show you. One clips in here and another one, because this thing actually goes like this. Another one clips in here, and that's our loom for the glow plugs. So now we can take this over bit here and just connect our glow plugs in place, like so. And yeah, is it connected? No, not yet. Just need to have give it a little push, I think. There you go, now it's connected nice and clicked nicely in. So that's this done. Most of this bit is done. I still haven't put that shield, as you can remember, on a side here. I might not even put it on, to be honest, because it doesn't really do much and there's nothing much here, but I'm not sure. I might put it on if I still have a bit of time. That side everything is done apart from the low bolt we took off aside to release some of that pipe, so it was just tidying it up a little bit and then just plug the EGR up. So we're gonna probably do that now. I'm not gonna be recording because it's really difficult for me to record now. I'd rather just do it and then tell you what I've done, for because you already seen how I undo it, so it's not really much point really of. But yeah, I'll try to film as much as I can still and see how we're gonna do it. Right guys, so I'm nearly done. Pretty much done everything up. I put this metal pipe back on. I haven't put the breather pipe on back yet, as I decided to do these two 10mm nuts here on a EGR first, and then I'm gonna be doing a breather up. Yeah, I just want to do this one up first, make sure it's out of the way, and then do those two up. So I'm just gonna go and do that one up and then breather, and then I'll be done. Right my guys, I have just done everything up. As you can see, the metal pipe from intake manifold to EGR is done up. Everything here is done up same way that we took it all out. Batteries connected, everything here is done up. I even placed that shield back on, to be honest, and it seemed to be holding all right in a place. So everything is now done and the job has been completed. I would have gone through more details on putting everything together if it would have been a summer and a sunny day, but unfortunately in this dark it's very difficult for me to record everything. So I hope you're gonna find the information which I filmed earlier on, how to take everything off useful, and you'll be able to what I can say is put everything back together was twice quicker when taking everything out. So that's the positive side of it. And still have to bring my diag box back into a car and plug it up and delete that glow plug error code, and then see if it comes back up or not. But I don't think it'll come back up because all the glow plugs are here now. They're all been replaced. As you can see, 3 of them was not too bad. One of them, it was an absolute pain to get off, and it took me like half hour. I was too scared to actually break it, snap it and leave it inside. So I was doing it really slowly, you know, twist it, kind of turn it to one side a little bit, then a little bit backwards, then a little bit out, backwards again. In the end I had to pull it out because it was already out of its shed and it would still be in there stuck in a carbon. So here we are guys. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe, like this video, and yeah, I might make a remake on this video on another car if I get it, but for now that's what I can do. So I hope you enjoyed it. Right my guys, so I hope you can see this. I have just scanned my car with diag box. I have performed glow plug replacement yesterday, and after that I had plugged diag box and deleted the error code for glow plugs, and I had to run out because I had 120 miles round trip to make. By the time I was back, it was already too late, so I didn't want to record nothing. And just now, this morning, I plugged the diag box, I ran the scan on it, and guess what? I have no faults coming up whatsoever. So my glow plug fault, which was always there, is now gone. So I'm happy about it, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video.